Hello ladies and gents, I am Nother Neter, and welcome back to From the Depths, Nother Neter, the community campaign. To start with, we are in the designer because I want to showcase off a few tier 1s which I'm going to be suiciding against the Onyx Watch this episode. I just want to try and clear out as many of these as possible because, well, I do appreciate the vast support I have had from the community, and it is a shame that I haven't really been able to show off some of the designers. So hopefully this will rectify some of that. I'm probably not going to show off all of the tier 1s which I've received, just because there are so many, and if I showcase them all off, we'd actually start winning with tier 1s, which is not really the plan of this Let's Play. I want to be advancing up the tiers, but we shall see how things perform. So, from Dapper Apples, we have the SS What Was I Thinking? 10k, and it has a particle accelerator there in the main body, and a little cubby hole for Rambot there. It's got a steam engine, so it should do decently well, I guess, against the enemy. Let's just have a quick look to see just what the accuracy of that particle accelerator is like. It's decent enough, I guess. Not massively high, and if it does take a cram hit to the face, it will basically explode, which is pretty much expected for a tier 1 design at close range with the Onyx Watch. From Gunsmoke Legend, if I can find where he is, there they are. We have a couple of small drone things. We have the 2 short swords. I believe one is a bomber. Yeah, so we've got a load of missiles there, and that one's got some various different types of missiles, I think, on the arrangement there. So it should make them a little bit different. So there's a pair of these going in. Pretty interesting rapid motion there. He just killed himself. I know, it's hit by the cram. Yeah, that's not going to help. But the pair of these are doing decent, well, do decently well, I guess. They're not super cheap. There's a little flyers, but, well, Onyx Watch are going to have a pretty difficult time actually hitting them for the most part. So they might keep us alive for a short time anyway. From Zarluk, we have a couple. We have a modification of the Interceptor, the Cram Interceptor, which utilises a cram cannon, one of the very few cram cannons being utilised in the campaign, and also Doom from Above, a very, very cheap little hovering missile, smart bomb launcher thing. So again, just quickly spot these in and see how the cram cannon fares there. We've got a few little shots there. Doom from Above just taking shots towards it, and eventually we'll get shot. And the cram cannons, well, one cram cannon versus the lots of cram cannons, I think the Onyx Watch are going to win this cram fight. So maybe it will do okay, because it's fairly erratic and circular motion should keep it safe from retaliation fire. But even so, cram versus cram, the Onyx Watch are probably going to win, because their crams, they have a lot more of them, even if ours are probably going to be slightly more powerful due to the more specific design counters there. From Quote 26, we have the Pumpkin Torpedo. This, I think, should actually do decently well. Since if it is a torpedo launcher, we have, well, a very, very big target for torpedoes to be shot at from. They don't look like torpedoes to me. They just look like an array of missiles. So, yeah, I'm not too sure if it's torpedoes, but still, I think I'd have a few missiles here and there. But all in all, missiles are not going to be doing a very, very good amount of damage against the Onyx Watch, just because they have so much in the way of armor. And you see those couple of barrages. Well, the one looks barely phased. Yeah, it's taken a couple of blocks of damage, but to be honest, not that much. So I'm not looking for great things from it. It was designed to take its Deepwater Guard after all, not the heavy armor and steel armor bricks of the Onyx Watch. From Mavian, we have quite a few little designs, but the one we're going to be utilising here is the Influenza class. It is a helicopter here, and it has 3 little guns. What are they armed with? We have a AP, so decent rounds. Actual little spam explosions. Again, with small explosives, they generally aren't that good. Partly because very small explosives like this, just took a nasty hit, let's spawn another one in. Very small explosives like this just don't normally have the penetrative power against the heavy armor of the Onyx Watch, and the Warden is just completely owning these things. Yeah. Oh, it fired a couple of shots before completely dying. This is going to happen a lot with the vehicles we're using, so it's a bit unfortunate, but I couldn't have put everything against the Deepwater Guard, but the Deepwater Guard, they put up a good fight, but yeah. I was very, very, very short on resources, so it was a bit difficult to try and show things off. I'm doing a lot better with resources this time, so that's good. From School's Exploder, we have the PR Wolverine. It's actually got a very big gun, and it's named after the Wolverine tank destroyer. So we've got an inertial frag each shell, it seems, a rapid fire one, and a very large one. Inertial frag should be good against those annoying shields, and wow, yeah, don't let your turrets get hit. Yikes. Yeah, really don't let your turrets get hit. That's really quite messy there. See the guns line up. When they strike though, they do a nice amount of damage. The thing is that this is also a very, very vulnerable target. It is cheap though. It is about half the price of anything else, so yeah. Again though, it's a couple of cram hits is just going to take it out almost instantaneously. What we do have though is a slightly upgraded version of the Condor Wing. So that is something to consider once the Wolverine and the original Condor is pulled out. So put the new Condor Wing. These have a load of EMP bombs, and essentially the ATOS have been moved for more of these actual orbiting gunships here. So we still have a couple of little things, but it does mean that now we have a considerably more deadly array, and here come a massive number of bombs just randomly scattered towards the target, and then look at all that EMP just smashing in, and that will do a nice amount of damage against the Onyx Watch because, well, they are made of metal and have a lot of cram, and I've mentioned before that, yeah, everything breaks when you hit the cram gauge. Like the gauges are dropping down, and yeah, local weapons controllers are all being destroyed. So those bombardment things, the bombers, are going to do a good amount of damage. Unfortunately, those bombs might also kill us, so that is something to consider. I'll have to be very careful when deploying the new Condor Force in, well, with the rest of our forces. From a very non-suspicious unknown, previously known as Unknown, who gave us the Timmy frigate, which I believe is still around. Got a couple of little designs which I'm going to be spawning in as well. We have the Tweety Bird. Ah, look at that little Tweety Bird. And also we have the Ugly Bird Faster Edition, which essentially both look like they are small missile ships here. Again, nothing particularly going to be very strong against the Onyx Watch, and they're slow enough to get hit by crams just like that. Well, the faster one might not be, but yeah, that is going to be an easy target for the APS weaponry of the Onyx Watch. The Then finally from Ritter von Third, or Ritter, we have the IVN Storm Chaser. You have some other more powerful designs, but we have this one here, which is actually a particle accelerator boat as well. We have had a couple of these little things. We'll see how this one fares though, and whether or not its turret is any more potent this time. It doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be having a similar sort of issue as the previous one, though being a little bit faster, it might, well, stay alive a touch longer. However, yeah, one or two hits are going to really mess this day up. Impressively though, it is actually avoiding most of those shots. It seems to have done a good job so far of not dying. But I'm not expecting that to last too much in the campaign, facing multiple opponents at once. So we will be getting a tier 3 slot this episode because of, well, capturing that resource zone last episode, but we haven't actually captured the tile yet, but we would like to spawn in the design as soon as we do get that. And I haven't really got anyone in mind as of yet to utilise that. Probably do want to do a ship, but I was thinking, I haven't had to utilise anything of kneecaps, mainly because the rain from kneecap is actually too high. This is a T3 design, so it's only slightly above the limit there. So I'll be using this one, at least initially. I may unspawn it later, once we have some other designs in play. And so this is the rain. See, it's quite a fast little craft. And it has a load of laser systems. And lasers are an interesting prospect because the thing is, we might be using a few actual smoke rounds around, which it would be severely limiting on the damage, but it is a hit scan and is able to strike targets through those annoying shields which were causing us so much trouble in the previous episode. So I think it's definitely worth trying out and just seeing how well it can perform as a offensive weapon for us in that tier 3 slot, though as I mentioned it's only slightly more expensive than a tier 2. But it is best to observe these in the campaign. One thing I did forget to do was add them all as a save, as a favourite, so I'm going to go do that now. And here we go, here's the next new force. Let's get it all repaired up. And yeah, that's quite a lot of stuff to get repaired up. But if I do get it all repaired, then that is good. Oh, I didn't get around to build my outposts, did I? Oh well. Iron Cordon, Flute, an Ironclad, an Alcazar, Culvern, Pioneer and a Warden. That's not going to go well. Oh god, the Ninth Army is coming up. Let's send the Cramble force against it, I think. I'm going to have to engage this quickly before it actually, starts blockading us. I've got still the Brunhild Mark II in here. Oh dear, I meant to move that out. Oh well. Yeah, I was going to go for the Brunhild 1, just to see how it performed, but yeah, I just completely forgot about that. Oh well. These things happen, I guess. Right, the stage is set. Let us begin this battle. Yeah, the battle of this is going to be quite messy because there's a lot of crams coming towards the relatively small vehicles here, and I did forget to charge the detonator up. But the Brunhild is going in and appears to have been detonated, I think, by the APS secondaries of the Alcazar there, which is annoying because it has blown up the guns and taken the jet engines down, so it is now falling out the sky. And the Alcazar is just quite happily using its LAM systems to ignore all inbound fire. Every now and then one hit does hit onto it, but it is just waddling slowly forward, its LAM systems essentially just keeping it completely safe. Even as the battle transfers into nighttime and once again back into day, it still lasers defenses are really stopping absolutely everything. Even the large number of missiles coming from the small swarm missiles are there as well. It is stopping absolutely everything. Trams, missiles, the works. Almost nothing is getting through to the Alcazar. So I'm now just going through and observing what of our vehicles are left. We have essentially got quite a few husks of vehicles left, but the main guns have been destroyed. Like the Brunhild there has been disabled. Yeah, so basically everything has been disabled, so I'm just started going through and essentially, well, retreating everything. Which is not ideal if I actually want to keep on with the battle. And then see, there's the potato also been disabled. And by this point, the Uxar is still advancing forward, looking pretty undamaged in that position. And then it starts repairing its teammates. Absolutely incredibly fast. And yeah, that is a major problem, because if it keeps repairing everything, we just cannot do everything, well, any sort of damage with the forces we have remaining. So I retreat. So what I did there, I decided to leave the battle early. Because, quite frankly, the Alcazar was just repairing everything at a really rather ridiculous rate. What I did leave though, the Evening Shrimp, I'm going to get rid of you, and also the Brunhild Mark II, which took a nasty few cram hits there. So let's quickly repair that lot up. We just need to move over to there to grab those resources and finish up effecting those repairs. So in retaliation, I think we'll actually send both of these forces, or the blimp is broken. I'm actually going to have to get rid of the blimp and sort that out at some other point. So Seahog and Hammer Time and go attack the 9th Army before it blockades us. This time, let's just jump on the pretzel, because I didn't really identify what it was doing last episode. Right, might as well begin. Yep, I'm hoping that the slightly advanced forces here will be able to break through the defences of the Alcazar and therefore cause it some extreme harm. Straight away we see the telltale smoke of those huge penned rounds smashing into the front of the Alcazar, though one only hit slightly forward of it. The other craft are having telltale smoke of those big shell hits. Don't think any other of our vehicles actually have smoke at the moment, so it is the Hammer Time which is doing the main amount of damage. The AA Cruiser has been disabled, and the Arethusa is moving in for a much closer engagement with the Alcazar, which is not good. It's definitely has the ability to stop the crams, but the APS weaponry will get through its shielding and its land system, which is exactly what's happening there, having taken out one of the rear engines, slowly but surely whittling it down, so then it took a big cram hit to the rear there. Just observing how our vehicles are doing, and they're doing okay admittedly, but still not particularly fancy. But as the battle progresses, with long term of just fighting this husk of a vehicle remaining, it is eventually disintegrating, and soon, or very soon, it will disintegrate, gaining us the victory for this battle over the Alcazar there. Even with our higher damaging tier 2 forces, it still took a while for those, well, the Alcazar to be destroyed. It is a pretty annoyingly tough design after all. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send all the T1s I have together against this force. The reason for that is this is a really tough force. The Iron Cordon is an immensely potent APS armed Onyx Watchcraft, and as we've seen the Alcazar in a couple of fights already, it's no slouch in its own right. Right, let's go take out this tile. Doom from above, move right close to the target, and then it can actually drop those weapon systems. Everything else though is just going to probably ride towards the Onyx Watch in glorious fashion. Let's begin this battle. It's going to be quite a slow one, that's for sure. The Iron Cordon hasn't spawned in yet, so we have a bit of a chance to try and kill as much of this Onyx Watch force as possible before the big guns arrive. Yeah, it's a hope, but it's a vain hope, and I say before the big guns, the enemy have a lot of big guns, and all of those crams land on target, completely annihilating that poor little craft. I look around and yeah, it's destroyed, and then they turn their sights on the potato next, which is destroyed. Then the next load of bombardment is heading directly towards the Cram Interceptor, which, as I did suspect, its erratic movement is keeping it alive. But it's only going to last for so long, and already you can see the Cram Interceptor is taking slight hits from those APS weaponry, as some of the other vehicles have already been hit by the Cram bombardments. Because although the majority of the cannons are firing at the same target, not all of them are. The Onyx Watch have incredible arcs of fire and will happily fire in multiple directions at once if they have the targets to do so. So flanking them isn't always a good idea, and our forces are inadvertently flanking them as they progress round, trying to avoid the various attacks. Just having a quick scout round at our vehicles, and a lot of them are looking a bit worse for wear. Several big hits on a lot of the craft, having disabled them either fully or partially, and most of the time having disabled weaponry. Our bot just took a nasty little hit there, but I clipped out the bit where the oil was just over the complete screen. Spinning up for a lot faster battle here, and yeah, things are not going well. Our forces are now dying. Just considering having to retreat some away, observing which ones are actually operational. So you have the Wasp Prospector on balloons, and even so, it's not doing well. But that isn't the worst of it. The worst of it is the Iron Cordon spawns in and immediately destroys the few remaining combat capable craft, and that is the Cramble. The Warden is also in the background there, but it is these really high powered APS weaponry of the Iron Cordon which are causing the real problems. They're fast, they're very accurate, and yeah, they're very powerful. Leaving on to the few craft with any health left, and it is not looking good. It's not looking good at all. I'm hoping that the monitor might be able to do something, but no, its targets are being turned towards it, and it will eventually just get destroyed. So, once more, I jump back onto the Cramble to see, is this going to be very available? And as soon as I get there, it gets completely massacred by APS bombardment. So once again, I concede defeat and then retreat from the battle. Well, as suspected, that was quite the failure. We lost on the short swords, death from above, the Cram Interceptor, Tweedbird evolved, and a few of the other designs actually did, well, I retreated them because I didn't really have anything left on there. But yes, quite a few designs actually just completely wiped out. I'll send it in with... I've got any other forces? No, I think that's it, isn't it? Oh no, the Onyx Watch are about to blockade this force. That's not good. Oh no, the force actually got blockaded in the end. Okay, I think the best forces to try and take out this, we'll send in with the T1s, is the Hammer Time force. That's the Hammer Time, the Arethusa, and the Pretzel. Hammer Time will just stay at long range. Arethusa will be a little bit closer. Oops, already started the battle a bit. And immediately, the Onyx Watch are healing up. They have insane healing capabilities. They have a lot of materials to do it with as well. And that lot of materials is really annoying because, as you can see, they spawn in very close together, and the Alcazar there is just repairing everything really quick. And so those initial few bombardments, our Alpha Strike is completely negated by the Alcazar's repair capabilities there, which is really rather annoying. On our front, I'm just observing the Arethusa's defences because it is one of the closer craft which is being targeted quite heavily, and its active defences are meant to keep itself alive in situations like this, allowing the rest of the fleet in order to actually fight and deal damage. That role seems to be doing pretty well by the Alcazar there. Just sitting there, going around shooting lasers everywhere, and again more oil on the screen, which is a bit annoying. I noticed when the Influenza is crashed, and it's been hit a few times, so I actually just retreated from this battle to prevent it being destroyed completely and trying to recover at least some of the resources spent on it in this episode. Arethusa, for some obscure reason, decides to go right in towards the enemy, I might not have disabled reverse on its AI, which is what caused this odd behaviour. And there's a bit of a problem because its reverse is not very good. Interestingly, the flute can fly. This is actually the second time I have seen it flying. I just didn't point it out earlier, but yes, every now and then you just see it doing whirling in the air, which is really quite amusing. I noticed that there was a huge explosion in the distance, and that was the pretzel venting its shells. And that's not good because that was a good damaging weapon system. I hop onto the Arethusa though, to try and utilise its main gun to try and take out some of this supporting craft, so that then we are, well, not being bombarded so much from all directions by everything. But even so, we're not doing very well, and that's about it. Everything else has had its main weapon systems either crippled or disabled in this battle, so once more I decided to retreat despite losing a load of vehicles in the process. So the Influenza class got defeated there, though we've just gone blockaded again. The Arethusa didn't have to take a huge beating by the Alcazar, but we are actually almost winning the fight now, so that's good. Unfortunately, all of this lot died. It was, defeated in glorious combat, as it were. On the plus side, that does mean you can spawn in the Onyx Watch Condor. So I'm going to spawn that lot in. So let's build up the new Force Farm Skull Sploder there. Build both of them up. Okay, well, we had to pull in the battle. Fortunately, we do have all our T2s in range. Fortunately, the Arethusa is actually still quite badly damaged from the previous battle. Push it to the bottom of the list, and that will mean everything else can then spawn in. Hopefully it will actually continue to repair during this fight. Let's begin the battle. Oh, it's still dark. I don't think the changes I did to the weather have actually worked, so I'll have to go back. I might have forgotten to save. I have done that before. I've forgotten to actually save the changes I did to the map. Still, the enemy Onyx Watch force are over here, and we have the full might of our T2s, which are currently in play. And I need that might. The battle starts at night, and yeah, we are quickly. Block count is being shredded very, very quickly. The Oaks are again just sitting there, tanking everything. The Warden now, though, being heavily bombarded nicely by the Sea Hog there, and a good few missiles from various craft, which is all very nice. We've got the Wolverine going around, doing a nice bit of flanking manoeuvring using its main gun there. The AA Cruiser having taken fairly substantial damage, and not really doing much to the best of its abilities there. Just again observing the Arethusa as it is getting massively bombarded by the Iron Cordon, which has just spawned in, and I'm able to take out a good amount of the shells, but it was not designed. I actually know it is not designed and capable of taking out the Iron Cordon's main barrages, because its LAM system is based on storage, and as soon as that storage is vented out, destroying shells, it just gets destroyed, and that seems to be the case commonly with a lot of the vehicles. Storage is very, very good against on Onyx Watch because crams fire slowly, and it's very good at killing crams. But the more rapid fire barrages from the Iron Cordon, or indeed the Trebuchet, make it so that the storage-based LAM systems is very, very hard to do. But equally, it's also very expensive to have a non-storage-based LAM system. The Iron Cordon continues to absolutely wreck our forces, and I consider retreating at this point, though I think actually, no, we can continue fighting. Our forces aren't completely shredded yet. We still have a few of the T1s just going around doing a little bit of damage, and I'm just hoping that they might be able to detonate one of those big guns, and because those shells are pretty nice and they're doing a decent amount of damage there. But yeah, every time I just go out into the map view, see a huge barrage of hits smash into our forces, and it's just how long is this going to go on? The Iron Cordon is completely wrecking absolutely everything of our forces. And I do notice that one of the enemy vehicles is going off into the distance, which is going to make the battle very long regardless, because even if I manage to kill the Iron Cordon, I've then got to kill that really long range thing. And unfortunately, our tier 2s have been disabled and are getting bombarded again. So that's the Hammer Time getting bombarded by the APS weaponry of the Iron Cordon. And it's been hit a couple of times, which means I really need to retreat, regroup, rebuild, and fight again. Right, well, that was another mess of a battle. We did lose quite a bit to that the single Iron Cordon. They are really rather potent, so we lost basically everything we spawned in this episode, which was sort of expected really, but we need to try and get everything repaired up. We did also lose the Sea Hog. The Sea Hog did a valiant effort, and also technically the Arethusa, but the Arethusa wasn't actually spawned in for full capacity for a lot of that fight. Let's just try and move everything away, try and get everything repaired up. We need to try and kill this Iron Cordon and the Ironclad. The Ironclad did kind of start escaping, which was another reason why I retreated the battle, because, well, we got most of the resources back, and we are still very high up on the resources. Doing quite well on that front at the moment. I didn't lose too much with the T1s, having been able to retreat most of them and also recover a lot of the resources scattered around after the combat. Right, now Arethusa is almost complete and it's ready to go into combat. Excellent, along with the Hammer Time and the Pretzel. That means the Sea Hog is now ready to go, as is the new Condor group. Have time at long range. The Arethusa did a good job at tanking the hits from the Iron Cordon. So I'll keep it a decentish distance. And now we have the new... got the Gulls, the Atioses, the Hesh planes. So basically everything can spawn in on our force again. We actually outnumber the enemy this time. And there's the Cordon. And here we have the new Air Wing. And this is truly our full might of the Tier 2 currently deployed in battle. This battle should go a little bit better since we only have T2s in this force. We also now have the Onyx Watch Condor Wing, and they're pretty good at this sort of thing. The Arethusa is doing its job of trying to tank a load of those APS rounds, and although it will eventually lose that battle, if it is able to reduce the damage to the rest of our forces, that is absolutely fantastic. The Iron Cordon has already been hit by several of Richard Astley Hammer Time's mostly huge railgun shots, and it also doesn't have as much APS weaponry as our other forces, which is absolutely brilliant. Just observing some of those as they fly towards the Arethusa, and then it just pings them off there straight away. More hits coming in from all of our forces, and there's a good huge array of EMP mines being dropped by the Onyx Watch Condor Wing, and that is doing a fantastic job of actually landing on the Iron Cordon, disabling shields, actual local weapons controllers, reducing the damage and defences of the Iron Cordon significantly. And with the shields being disabled there, it allows the rest of our forces to do absolutely huge amounts of damage. The Sea Hog just dropping massive Hesh shells on the top, and all of our other vehicles just throwing in various explosive fragmentation, Hesh, APHE rounds, all sorts actually onto the vehicle, doing a good amount of damage, even if it's not all visible because, well, the fairly dark nighttime scenery there. One of the Kias was destroyed, but otherwise, that is a very, very nice little force. Quite amusing. I did like the fact that all the bombs were being blown up by the Hammer Time. Let's advance forwards though, and build an outpost actually on location. We have captured another Onyx Watch tile and actually captured the first resource zone. So we actually do have access to a tier 3. One thing though, which I do want to do, is adjust the weather and actually remember to save it this time rather than just well, forget, because I didn't actually do anything. And next episode we will mainly be working on the tier 2 front, though I do think I might still keep a few tier 1s around as a sort of cannon fodder, just to artificially inflate the size of our forces and reduce the amount of damage our tier 2s are taking. Probably only like 1 or 2 an episode, but still just get through them slowly but surely, as it were. But that's going to be it for today's episode, so thank you very much for watching this episode of From the Depths, Another Neter community campaign with myself and a different. If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a like and or comment below, as this is always great to hear from you lot. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for more From the Depths videos and other games, and also swing by the Discord channel for more direct interactive chatting and discussion about the forces and tiering system utilised in the game so far. But that is going to be it for now, and I shall see you next time. But until then, I'm out. Goodbye!